In this lesson, we will be reviewing the concept of dividing integers. After watching this video, you should be able to answer the following questions. How do I divide integers? And how can I use my calculator when dividing integers? Just like when multiplying, there are rules that can be followed for division, and these rules happen to be the same. For example, a positive number divided by a positive number. Positive 25 divided by a positive 5 is going to equal a positive number, in this case, positive 5. The second rule says a negative number divided by a negative number is going to equal a positive number. So if I have a negative 12 and I divide that by a negative 4, even though we're dividing two negative numbers, our answer is going to be positive, and in this case, a positive 3. The third rule states that a positive number divided by a negative number is going to equal a negative number. So if I have 14 divided by a negative 7, that's going to equal a negative number, like negative 2 in this case. Lastly, the fourth rule says a negative number divided by a positive number also will equal a negative number. So if I have a negative 15 and I divide that by a positive 3, my answer is going to be a negative number, in this case, negative 5. So if you look, positive divided by positive is positive. That's a positive number. Negative divided by negative is also going to be positive. We have a positive number. Positive divided by negative is negative. And there we have a negative 2. Here we have a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And that answer is a negative also. So rules are rules, and sometimes they're hard to remember, sometimes they're easy to remember. So again, I'm going to show you the same method that we use for multiplication that we're going to use when dividing integers. So we're going to set up our triangle with a plus sign on top, two negatives in the bottom, and we're going to do it the same as we did for multiplication. So if we have a negative 14 divided by 7, for example A, I'm going to cross off my negative for the 14, I'm going to cross off my positive for the 7, and we know my answer is going to be negative. And 14 divided by 7 is 2. For B, we have a positive 8 divided by positive 2. And again, this is an example where our triangle doesn't really fit this problem because there's not two positives in the triangle that we can cross off. So you need to rely on the fact that you've always been working with positive numbers since you could count. So a positive divided by a positive is going to equal a positive. And in this case, 8 divided by 2 is 4. For example, C, we have a negative divided by a positive. So I'm going to cross off the negative for the 15 and the positive for the 3 that we're dividing by. So a negative 15 divided by 3 is going to equal a negative number. And then we just have to figure out 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5. Negative 24 divided by negative 6. We have a negative number divided by a negative number. So I'm going to cross off two negatives, one for the first one and one for the second one. And we notice that our answer then is going to be positive. So negative 24 divided by a negative 6 is going to be a positive 4. Let's take a look at how we can use our graphing calculator again to divide integers. So again, our negative button, negative key is down here at the bottom. Okay, so if you're going to type in something like negative 42 divided by negative 7, you just type it in exactly the way you see it, either on a worksheet or test or whatever you're working on. Okay, just make sure you use that negative sign at the bottom instead of the subtraction sign. And here we'll see that we get a positive 6. Okay, even though your divide key is the division sign that we're used to looking at, when it shows up on your calculator, it's just going to be a slash. Okay, but still meaning division. We will continue to work on dividing integers, and if you have any questions, we can answer them in class. Thank you.